The lake city versus the capital city. North Idaho's crown jewel versus the booming Treasure Valley. Yeah, I'm talking about Coeur d'Alene and Boise. You know Idaho's calling your name, but which city should you actually pick? Stick around and maybe I can help you figure this whole thing out. Hello, I'm Trent Grantstaff with Living Life in North Idaho Realty Group. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you probably know I'm a bit partial to North Idaho. I mean, it's literally in my company name. But I'll admit, Boise isn't just some also-ran capital city collecting dust in the southern part of the state. It's a legit, thriving metro area with a lot going on for it. So, for comparison's sake, let's stack up Coeur d'Alene against Boise to see how these two Idaho powerhouses really compare. Let's kick things off with some numbers, because as my remedial math teacher in high school taught me, numbers are fun. How about population? Boise is way bigger, sitting at around 239,000 people compared to Coeur d'Alene's roughly 58,000. Boise is Idaho's capital and largest city. It's number one in the state. Coeur d'Alene is the 7th largest city in Idaho, but it's easily the biggest city in North Idaho. Now here's the thing, when most people talk about Boise or Coeur d'Alene, they're really talking about the surrounding metro areas, not just the city limits. The Boise metro area has a population of around 795,000 people. That's really massive actually for Idaho, pretty big. The North Idaho region, the entire region, sits around 254,000 people. So if you're looking for that true city vibe with more people, more restaurants, more everything, Boise wins that round. But here's what's cool about both areas. You don't have to live in the city to be close to the action. Both Boise and Coeur d'Alene are surrounded by smaller towns where you can grab some acreage, build your dream homestead, maybe run a few chickens or cattle or whatever you're into, and still be 20 minutes from downtown. Places like Star, Eagle, and Cunha around Boise, or Post Falls, Hayden, Rathdrum, Sandpoint, and Athol, which are around Coeur d'Alene. You get the best of both worlds, which is small town living with big city access. Which one's larger by area, you ask? Well, that's a good question. Boise takes this one too. Coeur d'Alene sits at about 16 square miles, while Boise sprawls across roughly 80 square miles. That's 5 times bigger for my other remedial math friends out there. But here's the thing, Boise's population is only about 4 times larger than Coeur d'Alene, so you're actually getting a bit more elbow room per person up in North Idaho, which mathematically means you're 4 times less likely to want to punch somebody in the face. And that's from a scientific research study that I just made up.
What?
Now, location, location, location. We've all heard that from realtors and stuff.
It's all about location, location, location.
Let's talk about where these cities actually sit, and this is where the natural beauty comparisons gets pretty interesting. Coeur d'Alene's biggest geographic flex is that you're sitting right on top of one of the most beautiful lakes in the entire country, which is Lake Coeur d'Alene. 25 miles of pristine, swimmable H2O surrounded by mountains, and that's just the beginning. North Idaho is absolutely loaded with lakes. Lake Pend Oreille, which does not look like that's how you pronounce it, is the largest lake in Idaho and one of the deepest in the entire United States. And it's just 45 minutes north near Sandpoint. Priest Lake, Hayden Lake, Twin Lakes, Fernan Lake, we're talking over 55 natural lakes in North Idaho. You've got access to incredible water recreation literally everywhere you turn. You're also only about 30 miles east of Spokane, Washington, so you've got easy access to a bigger metro area when you need to be reminded why you moved out of it. Silverwood Theme Park is 20 miles north, and you've got world-class skiing at Schweitzer Mountain and Silver Mountain within an hour's drive. And Boise, well, Boise sits in the Treasure Valley in southwestern Idaho. You've got the Boise River running right through town, which is awesome for floating in the summer, and you're nestled up against the Boise foothills, which gives you incredible hiking and mountain biking access. Now, there is a lake near Boise, Lucky Peak Reservoir, but let's be honest, it's not exactly a place that you want to swim. It's more of a motorized recreation spot. The desert landscape around Boise is beautiful in its own right. Golden foothills, high desert sage, dramatic rock formations, but if you're looking for natural lakes and water access, there's just no comparison. North Idaho has water everywhere. Boise does not. Sorry, Boise, you're just not as good. So when you want to hit the water or the trails in North Idaho, you're not fighting nearly the same crowds. In Boise, popular trailheads and river access points can get absolutely slammed, especially on weekends, which again increases that chance of wanting to punch somebody in the face 400%. It's science. Boise is more centrally located in the state, so you can get to Sun Valley in about 2.5 hours. You're close to the Oregon border, and you're only about 5 hours from Salt Lake City. But if lakes, rivers, and true water access are high on your priority list, North Idaho is in a completely different league. North Idaho is major leagues, and Boise is Bush League. Now look, if all of this North Idaho talk has you thinking, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and drop a comment below. Let me know what brought you here. Are you researching a move? Just curious? Already packing boxes? And if you're serious about making a move to Idaho, give me a call at the phone number or reach out with an email. That works too. We also have this QR code that you can scan and schedule a time to talk with me or my team. My team and I help people relocate to this area every single week, and we'd love to help you find the perfect spot, whether that's on the lake in Coeur d'Alene or on 20 acres outside of Sandpoint. All right, back to the comparison. Okay, so let's talk about something that is totally irrelevant, doesn't matter at all. It's not going to change your mind on moving here at all. It's money. Median household income, Boise's got the edge here. The median household income in Boise is around $83,900 a year. Coeur d'Alene's median income sits at about $72,300 a year. So Boise households are pulling in roughly $11,000 more per year on average. Yes, $11,000. But hold up, let's talk about home prices because this is where things get spicy, as the young kids say. The median home price in Boise hovers around $500,000 to $540,000, depending on which source you check and what month you're talking about. Price per square foot is around $300 to $310. In Coeur d'Alene, the median home price is about $545,000 to $600,000, with a price per square foot coming in at $288 to $315. Wait, what? Yeah, you heard that right. Coeur d'Alene's home prices are pretty much neck and neck with Boise's, and in some cases, they're actually higher. So even though Boise has higher household incomes, the housing costs are basically a wash. Neither city is cheap right now. If you're wanting and or hoping to find some magical affordability advantage, you're not going to find it in either place compared to, say, 2019, which feels forever ago. But compared to Seattle, Portland, or California, both cities feel like a relatively cheap place to live. Now, if you're willing to get outside the city limits, and I mean like 10, 15, 20 minutes out, you can find bigger plots of land, acreage, and way more house for your money. Around Boise, places like Star, Kuna, Eagle, I think I'm saying that right, Kuna, they're so particular about their names down there, just so you know. But those places give you options. Around Coeur d'Alene, you've got Post Falls, Rathdrum, Athol, and Hayden. You want 5 acres and a barn? It's out there. You want to run a small farm, keep some horses, or just have space to breathe? Both areas make that possible without being hours away from civilization. But before you start shopping for chickens and a tractor, let's talk about whether you can actually afford to live in paradise. Cost of living and taxes. Here we go. Overall cost of living, Coeur d'Alene and Boise are pretty similar. Boise's overall cost of living index sits right around 103% of the national average, and Coeur d'Alene is in that same ballpark, basically just slightly above the national average. Housing is the big driver in both cities. Now, let's talk taxes, because it's tax season. It's so fun. Idaho has a flat state income tax of 5.3%. Now, before you groan, if you're coming from California, Oregon, or Washington, wait, Washington doesn't have an income tax. Except for in 2029, they will. Idaho has 5.3%, is actually going to feel pretty reasonable if you are coming from other places in the West Coast. California's top bracket is over 13%. So yeah, Idaho starts looking a lot more attractive. Sales tax, Boise sits at 6%. And actually, they have a little bit higher tax to live in Boise because they have special levies for schools. Just thought I'd mention that. While Coeur d'Alene is also at 6%. So yeah, that's a tie. No winner here on the sales tax front. The tax situation is the same in both cities since they're both in Idaho. So if taxes are a major factor for your move, just know that both Coeur d'Alene and Boise offer the same state tax environment, which is still way more favorable than what most people are leaving behind in the West Coast. That was challenging, which is still way more favorable than what most people are leaving behind on the West Coast. Speaking of things being left on the West Coast, let's talk weather because you're probably gonna hate it here. Yeah. Coeur d'Alene and Boise have pretty different climates despite being in the same state. Coeur d'Alene gets about 27 inches of rain per year and averages 42 to 66 inches of snow per year, depending on the source that you're looking at. Summers are warm and dry. Temps get into the mid 80s and winters are cold and snowy. With temps dropping into the low 20s, you get about 174 sunny days per year. The lake has a moderating effect, so it doesn't quite get as extreme as some other mountain towns. Boise is way less precipitation. Boise gets about 12 inches of rain per year and only around 19 inches of snow annually. It's high desert, so it's drier and sunnier. You get about 206 sunny days per year in Boise, and summers can be hot. We're talking mid-90s regularly, and winters are mild with occasional snow. Temperature range, you're looking at mid-20s in winter, up to the mid-90s in summer. So if you want true four-season living with a legit winter and snow sports, Coeur d'Alene is going to be your spot. If you prefer milder winters, way more sunshine, and that high desert vibe, Boise wins. And I'd love to tell you that you get used to the cold weather here, but it's been 34 years and I still question every winter if God is punishing me for something I did in a previous life.
Smite me, almighty smiter!
Anyway, moving on. What about politics? Because I don't know if you've noticed lately, but they kind of matter. Look, this is Idaho. Both cities lean conservative, but there are differences. Boise and Ada County are more politically mixed than Coeur d'Alene and Kootenai County. Ada County has a larger percentage of Democrats and unaffiliated voters, and Boise itself has some pretty blue pockets, especially around Boise State University and the North End neighborhoods. You'll find more diverse political mix, because diversity is so important. Kootenai County, where Coeur d'Alene sits, trends more solidly conservative. The county went about 67% for Trump in 2024, and you'll find fewer Democratic voters proportionately. It's not a monolith. There are definite moderate and liberal folks in Coeur d'Alene, but the overall tilt is more right-leaning than Boise. If you want a bit more political diversity and purplish vibes, Boise might feel more comfortable. If you want a more reliable conservative area, Coeur d'Alene fits that bill. Just remember, Barney the Big Slow Dinosaur is purple, and Iron Man is red. Just something I noticed. Probably doesn't mean anything. Next, outdoor access. This is a big one for a lot of folks moving to Idaho, so let's dig in. Coeur d'Alene sits right on Lake Coeur d'Alene, offering 25 miles of boating, paddleboarding, kayaking, fishing, and waterfront fun. Tubbs Hill is right downtown and offers killer hiking with lake views. You've got Silverwood Theme Park just 20 miles north. And skiing, you have Schweitzer Mountain, which is about an hour north, Silver Mountain, which is about 45 minutes east, and there's also Lookout and 49 degrees north if two ski resorts weren't enough for you. You also have mountain biking on the Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes, which is a 73-mile paved rail trail. And if you head north to Sandpoint in Lake Pend Oreille, you've got even more massive lake recreation and mountain access. With over 55 natural lakes in the region and only 254,000 people to share it with, you've actually got room to enjoy it all. You're not fighting crowds to find a parking spot at the trailhead or a place to launch your boat. Boise has the Boise River running right through downtown. And floating the Boise River in summer is basically a religion. The Boise foothills give you hundreds of miles of hiking and mountain biking trails literally minutes from downtown. Bogus Basin Ski Resort is about 30 minutes away. It's smaller than Schweitzer and a lot flatter, but super convenient. You've got quick access to the Sawtooth Mountains, and you're close to Sun Valley if you want world-class skiing and $50 hamburgers. Boise feels like a mountain town disguised as a city, but here's the reality. You're sharing all of those resources with 795,000 people. Look, remedial math, I'm not super great with numbers, but that's a lot of people. Popular trails do get packed, and river access does get crowded. It's still incredible outdoor recreation, but access can be a challenge, especially on weekends and during peak season. Both areas do offer world-class outdoor access. Coeur d'Alene gives you lake life, water everywhere, and less crowded access to the mountains. Boise gives you desert trails, a floatable river, and proximity to some of Idaho's most iconic wilderness areas. But with a lot more people competing for the same spots. Again, one place gives you a ton of access, and the other might encourage the feelings to punch someone in the face. So if anger is a problem and people make you angry, North Idaho is probably going to be a better fit. Now let's talk vibe, because I don't know if you've ever been to a city with like a bad vibe, but it's not great. Doesn't make you feel good. So Coeur d'Alene has that lakeside resort town feel. Downtown Coeur d'Alene is charming, walkable, and very touristy in summer. The Coeur d'Alene Resort, the floating boardwalk, the beach, Sherman Avenue with its shops and restaurants, it's got all this vacation town energy year round. It feels like a bigger, small town. You know your neighbors, traffic's not bad, things move at a slower pace. Tourism is a huge part of the economy, especially in summer. Boise feels more like an actual city. You've got a legit downtown with high rises, a vibrant food and brewery scene, Boise State University adding that college town energy, and way more arts and culture events. It's got that small city with big city amenities thing going on. Traffic's getting worse, I'll be real about that, but it still feels manageable compared to Seattle or Portland. Boise's economy is more diversified, tech, healthcare, government, education. It doesn't shut down in the off-season like some tourist towns do. If you want that lakeside resort town, slower pace of life, Coeur d'Alene wins. If you want more urban energy, more job diversity, and more big city amenities in a smaller package, that should be a word, Boise takes it. And remember, both of these cities are surrounded by smaller towns where you can get land, build your dream property, and still be close to everything. That's the Idaho advantage. So there you have it. The comparisons are very clear. You should know by now which area is going to fit you best. But if you don't, that's why we're here. Reach out. And if you do, also reach out or scan the QR code. We have agents here in North Idaho with my team, or we have agents down in Boise or southeastern Idaho. Just give us a call. We can help you figure it out. And please, if you like this one, you're going to love this one. I promise. Check it out. I'll see you at that one. Bye-bye.